What's up, Colorado State Rams fans? And hey, welcome to the Collin Hill era. Collin Hill is legit. The true freshman came out and played like a true professional on Saturday against the UNC Bears as Colorado State won 47 to 21. This wasn't even close. Colorado State played their best game of the season. It's a little breezy here, but it was otherwise a beautiful day. A wonderful first start for Collin Hill, and after the game, head coach Mike Bobo said that Hill was calm, cool, and composed, which he was all three of those things, definitely. Elroy Masters, one of the leading receivers today, said that Collin Hill, he embraced the scene, he embraced the start, and this was not a scene or a place that was too big for Collin Hill, even though he's only 18, even though he's only a true freshman, and he came in as a mid-year transfer, not even finishing his senior year in high school. So, Hill on the day, he went 21 of 27 for 315 yards and 4 touchdowns. Those 4 touchdowns went to 4 different receivers, which is pretty remarkable. In all, 9 different receivers caught passes, which was phenomenal for Colorado State's offense. This was, without a doubt, a different team with Collin Hill as quarterback than we saw with Nick Stevens. It was a different team than the one that we saw with Fatan Bauta. And let's be sure to mention as well that Collin Hill isn't just a pocket passer like we all thought he might be. Bauta, he was the guy that could run, that was the running threat, and definitely took off for a lot of gains on the ground in his two games of experience this year. But Hill even had a 51-yard touchdown running the ball as he juked a player. And after the game, a lot of the players said that they knew that Hill was smart and they knew that he could throw the ball, but they just had no idea that he could run like that. As BC Johnson, one of the starting receivers, said, Collin showed a lot of things, and he did that exactly. Not only did he throw the ball well, but he ran, but it was the way that he threw the ball. We saw him complete passes and throw touchdowns in a variety of different ways. On the very first touchdown of the day, he threw a back shoulder fade to Masters, who went up and got it. It was a good throw. It was an even better play by the receiver, so kudos to Masters for going up and getting that 50-50 ball that could have gone either way to him or the defensive back. But Hill had the confidence in Masters to go up and make the play, and Masters did just that. They took the 7-0 lead, which they never looked back. But besides that, to set up that touchdown, Hill hit Sammy Long in stride on a 50-yard bomb right down the seam of the field. That was probably the best throw that we saw all day, and when he hit Long in stride, Long got to keep running, and he ended up finishing that run for 50 yards. It was 30 yards in the air, perfectly thrown by Hill, and then caught and ran, because hitting the receiver in stride is key. He did that again later when he hit Michael Gallup down the left sideline for 45 yards. The ball was slightly behind Gallup, but it still hit him in stride, so he was able to turn around, make the adjustment, catch the ball, and go out of bounds for 45 yards. We saw him throw the back shoulder fade. We saw him throw the bomb. We saw him throw the fade on another touchdown to Gallup, who was wide open because the ball was thrown perfectly. He put the ball where only his receiver could get it, which was masterfully done by Hill on that pass. The other thing that he was able to do is Hill stuck the ball in between 2 defenders a couple of times. One that really stood out was a skinny post run by Michael Gallup in the second quarter, and he fit that ball, Hill did, in between the DB, the cornerback, and the safety, and it was perfectly timed, perfect accuracy, great velocity. And Hill did everything, like we're saying now. He had the touch ball, the fades, the bombs, he even threw a bubble screen, and he can run the ball. So for a true freshman, you couldn't really ask for a better start than this. And after the game, Colorado State won 47-21. They were up 38-0 at halftime, and the defense kind of let up a little bit. Mike Bobo was not happy with the way the defense played in the second half. If you go back to the UTSA game, the defense didn't allow any touchdowns in the second half of that game. no points at all. They didn't allow any points in the first half of this game against UNC, so there were 4 straight quarters where the defense didn't allow a single point. In the second half, though, they really let up. They came out flat, as Kevin Davis, the leader of the defense, said after the game in the second half. And Josh Watson also admitted that there are many things that they can work on, and it's about consistency and playing a full game, which Kevin Davis, Josh Watson both said that they haven't done, and Mike Bobo. They're probably likely echoing what Mike Bobo said in the locker room, that he wants them to play a full game. But back to Collin Hill, the story of the game, the true freshman who had a remarkable game in his first start and first win for the youngster. We didn't get to talk to him after the game. Don't know if we're going to be able to talk to him all year long because he's a first-year player in the program, but a lot of guys talked about him, and one of them was Mike Bobo. Bobo said that Hill is definitely the guy moving forward. From here, he's going to probably have to continue to keep earning that job, as Bobo has asked for all of his players to do at every position to this point. But Masters said having Hill being named a starter moving forward as of right now gives them consistency on the offense and knowing who's going to be in the huddle and everything like that. And as far as Hill is concerned, yes, this was a game against UNC. Yes, Colorado State is 20-0-1 against UNC all time now, dating back to 1893, and the Rams third in the football game. They lost to UNC. They were supposed to win this game. It was Ag Day. The Rams are now 7-0 in their alternate Ag Day orange-out jerseys, which is great. But despite whoever the opponent was, this was a huge game for Hill, a perfect confidence booster for his first game. And as Robert Ruiz, the senior receiver, said after the game, Collin Hill is their field general moving forward, which is pretty cool considering he's only 18. And that speaks a lot about him. Jake Bennett, the starting center, said that he shares a locker right next to Hill, and that he's a funny dude, but he's mature for his age, which we saw in the huddle, we saw on the field today. And speaking of confidence booster, real quick, the Rams were up 35-0 with only 41 seconds left in the first half. Mike Bobo could have knelt the ball. He could have just let the game go to halftime up 35-0. Instead, from his own 35-yard line, he decided to let Collin Hill call some plays and move the Rams 50 yards into field goal position for a career-long 53-yard field goal by Wyatt Bryant. Now, when I asked Bobo after the game why they went for that, he said that the experience was invaluable, obviously, in the 1-minute drill, because Hill hasn't been able to do a lot of that during practice, because it's been Nick Stevens, it's been Faton Bauta, because those were the two guys that were ahead of him on the depth chart. So the experience was great because he hasn't been able to do that in practice, but also it shows a lot of confidence that the coach has in his freshman quarterback to be able to do that, and it paid off for Hill, it paid off for everyone, as the Rams went into the break up 38-0 instead of 35-0. Overall, I mean, this was basically a perfect game for Hill. He did have one silly freshman mistake where he was being sacked and he decided to fumble the ball forward. He ended up getting the ball back, so it didn't really hurt him that much. Also of note, Nick Stevens did come in during garbage time. The team ended up scoring with Marvin Kinsey on a touchdown there to push it to 47 to 21. Although Wyatt Bryant did doink the extra point off. So, bottom line of this game, Collin Hill starts. He's the future of the program. He is what Colorado State fans and coaches thought he was going to be. He's smart. He's athletic. He has the arm that they need. He understands the timing. And as Bobo said during that last-minute drive, he checked out of 2 different plays and called the right plays. He checked down to Dalton Fackrell and Izzy Matthews. Izzy dropped his pass, but he's showing that experience early, and that's huge for Colorado State. So they won the game in blowout fashion. Yes, it wasn't perfect. No, there's still a lot of things that the team can improve on. A lot of players were kind of banged up. Dalen Dawkins didn't play because they were resting him for next week against Minnesota, his hamstring. Michael Gallup, who had a great game, he was injured. BC was a little bit injured. BC Johnson. But the Rams are pretty healthy moving into next week. The defense obviously has to continue to learn how to play a full game, and that goes for the offense as well. They need to learn how to play a full game, and the special teams is still lacking in as well as consistency in the kicking game. And so Colorado State has a ton to continue to work on as they get ready to play Minnesota. It's a 10 a.m. kickoff next Saturday in Minnesota, so it's going to be the first road test, as Bobo said. So that will be a road test against a Big Ten team. And before my phone falls and dies, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, Ram fans, for joining in, and Colorado State now sits 2-1.